Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you to all my colleagues. It's great to hear everybody's opinion and have such passion about such an important endeavor as we are involved in right now with this budget. This was another difficult budget in another difficult economic year. What we see before us, in my opinion, and I've done this for 10 years, it's hard to believe, time flies. We've never had a perfect budget that we all thought was perfect and had money slotted exactly in the directions we thought were the most critical. Look, I've raised and educated 4 kids. I've never had a perfect budget at home either. And sometimes it was just as hard at home, as you all know. I just want to point out a couple things, specifically a big thank you to the work that went into this budget, because I know how hard everybody worked to get us here today. It's a reasonable, realistic, and sustainable budget. It's how I set my decision-making process. Is this going to work? With the numbers that we have, the reality of the revenues, and understand we are blessed. Over the past 3 or 4 months, we've seen some improvement. We've got some enthusiasm that it's going to get even better for Pennsylvania. I'm inspired just by hearing my colleague Jim Christiana remind me of the necessity and the ways we're going to encourage jobs and new revenues coming into Pennsylvania. But we were speaking earlier using some legendary characters. I'm going to be Florence Nightingale here for a minute, if you don't mind, and talk about human services. Nobody wants to see cuts to human services, and nobody wants to see cuts anywhere. We almost dealt with a 20% cut. We're not. We're still looking at 10%. 10%'s no small amount. But I want to talk a little bit about what we were able to do outside of that 10% cut and some of the investments that we can make that are critical. Look, human services affects every age group. We all care about educating our kids, we all care about jobs, and we all care about our parents and our older population. And that's what the budget did here in human services. It dealt with some of the disability issues, the intellectual disability issues, a waiting list that was just outrageous. We've been able to deal with that waiting list challenge in this budget. I feel really good about that. It's a good aspect. The funding to our hospital, I don't care what age you are, you could end up in and out of one of our hospitals and certainly need to be able to have that covered either by you or by the distribution of funds going back to them. We were able to bring that back to fully restored. Our nursing homes, our aging population, it's one of our major challenges here in this state. We want to make sure we're going to be able to handle that. Look, we don't like the cuts, but a lot of creativity, a lot of work went into trying to balance this budget to make it work in a sustainable fashion. I'm just pointing out the human services because I think that's important, and I know the focus that is on that. Mine will remain also. This is a realistic budget. We're using the money we have. We're looking to the future for some of our liabilities that we know are ahead of us. They're great, they're many. But let's pull together and look at what we have before us, and I ask everyone to take a good, strong look at this as a realistic budget for this time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all.